GNCAP, Global NCAP Crash Test Norms. Now, this is a topic that has been around for a while and it's constantly under discussion because what a lot of people don't know is, should we believe them? Should we not believe them? Are they reliable? Are they trustworthy? Do they get paid by manufacturers? You know, there's a lot of stories out there about the global NCAP ratings. And this video by no means is there to bust myths. It's more about whether you should believe them or not and what they truly stand for. Because I think a lot of people have got this misconstrued idea about what GNCAP crash test ratings are about and just what they mean to a car that gets a 3-star, a 4-star, a 5-star, or a 0-star. So we're going to be discussing all of this in this video. I'm Vikram Gaur and you're watching Motorscribes, and this video is about talking about the GNCAP and just how you should go about understanding that data. So to start with, I've got a few notes with me, and we're going to start with what the GNCAP test is all about. Well, they're a global testing agency that assesses the safety and performance of a vehicle, and these are done through a series of tests. Now, what are these tests that have been designed to test occupant safety and overall vehicle safety? So you've got the frontal impact test, where a vehicle is crashed into a rigid barrier going straight on, and I believe that the GNCAP does this at about 64 kilometers per hour. Then you've got the side impact test, where a vehicle is struck on the driver's side by a moving barrier that sort of comes flying in and smashes into the vehicle to check occupant safety, child safety, and both front passenger and rear passenger safety during a side impact. Then you've got the pole impact test, and as the name suggests, a vehicle is launched into a rigid pole that's sort of fixed in the ground, and over here again a lot of data is collected to check just exactly how the vehicle performed in such a test. Then you've got the whiplash test. Now, for a lot of people who don't know what whiplash is, I'll make it very simple. Whiplash is basically when you are in a moving vehicle and it comes to a standstill at a very fast speed, which is basically an accident. So you've gone from, let's say, 60 or 40 or 30 kilometers per hour to 0 because you hit something that was not moving. Your whole body sort of surges forward and then snaps back because that's the impact. And your neck, being nice and weak, it sort of flips forward and back really fast, and that gives you whiplash. It's in your neck. So you've got the head restraints in a vehicle are there to protect you from whiplash. And this is exactly what they test with the whiplash test. Then you've got the pedestrian protection. This is where the front end of the vehicle's design is determined to see just how well a pedestrian is kept safe should you have to have the unfortunate event of driving into one of them, crossing a road or such. And then you've got the autonomous braking test, which is basically a new test which comes to check on the autonomous levels of the vehicle, because you've got these new systems like ADAS. So all of that comes into play over here, and they test the vehicle on these parameters as well. So all these tests are then, the data is collated, and you're eventually given a 5-star rating or a 4-star, 3-star or 0-star, depending on how the vehicle performed in each test. So each test gets its own rating, and then you get a total rating on a scale. So the GNCAP follows the 5-star rating scale. So you can go from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you get this for adult occupant protection and child occupant protection. So both are tested over there. And as you know, there are numerous vehicles that are now available in India that come with a 5-star GNCAP rating. And that does mean that they are very safe vehicles. But what is the challenge with the GNCAP rating? Have there been discrepancies in the past? Well, you'd be very keen to know that some Indian manufacturers have actually challenged the GNCAP in the past, and they've said that their testing measures are not right. And any guesses? If you said Maruti, you're wrong. Because the first person, the first manufacturer to challenge the GNCAP was actually Mahindra. So in 2016, the Mahindra Scorpio scored a 0-star rating, and Mahindra went out to them and said that their rating methods are not right. When you look at the Indian norms, and the Scorpio is built to the Indian standard specifications and what the Indian government stipulates for safety. So it is not fair to be testing the Scorpio on the parameters that you've set at a global standard. Now, this is an argument that continues till today. And in 2019, there was another manufacturer that challenged the GNCAP as well. You want to try your luck this time? No? It's not Maruti. I'm telling you, it's not Maruti. The second manufacturer to challenge them, and that is in 2019, was Tata Motors. Yes. So they actually challenged them because their Tiago hatchback car received a 0-star rating. And they also had a similar claim saying that, the Indian norms are very different from global norms, and you cannot test these vehicles that are made solely for the Indian subcontinent or the Indian market at this level. But things have obviously changed. We know that Tata Motors and Mahindra both now have a slew of 5-star and 4-star rated products in their portfolio. You name it. The Nexon is definitely one one car that comes to mind. Then you've got the Scorpio, you've got the Mahindra Thar. All of them are conforming to this global standard now. And I think that is a good thing, because safety is important. And the one thing that the GNCAP does show is that we do need to move towards safer cars. And I think every manufacturer today is working on that. We are seeing just about every player coming up with more airbags on board, working on crash impact, working on safety within the cabin, structural rigidity, all of that coming into play to ensure that our vehicles are safer. But what does it mean to have a vehicle that is not 5-star rated? Does it by any mean, does it mean that it's not safe, that you shouldn't buy it, that it's totally unreliable? The truth is that you would be wrong on that account as well. Because the GNCAP, while it is a rigorous testing process, it is by no means a real world testing process. This is all done in a controlled environment. This is all done to assess very particular elements about a vehicle, and things can work and happen very differently in the real world, because it comes down to the driver as well. It comes down to the environment. It comes down to the driving style. So there's a lot out there. The crash test rating from GNCAP is just one parameter maybe worth considering when you're buying a car. You're looking at safety as something important. But by and large, if you see a vehicle that's got 2 airbags on board, it's got your seat belts, which are now mandatory even in the rear seat. You've got ABS, EBD, and you know that it is maybe a product that's sold in more than one market. You can pretty much put your hand down and say that, this is going to score about a 3.5 or above. And when you look at Indian driving conditions, where the speeds are much lower, city speeds are way lower, a 3-star rated vehicle would actually be fine. I know I'm going to get a lot of brickbats for that statement, but the truth is that it is not a guide for you to make a buying decision on. It is just something that points towards a single parameter. And it's a growing concern. I don't deny that safety is important, but it is also not the Bible. It is not something that you say that, oh, only 5 stars should be allowed, nothing else out there. Something that gets a 3-star is actually something that could be a great city car. It's something that's going to keep you safe. People have survived accidents in much less. And while we talk about the need in India I see a lot of posts out there about people claiming that, oh, we need this, we need that, we don't want this tin can and we don't want that tin can. The truth is that a lot of those tin cans are not the reason for an accident, because the Indian accident rate is actually skewed towards the two-wheeler segment, pedestrians and people on bicycles. So that's why we have such a high rate of accidents in the country. And I think a lot of you would agree with me that helmet laws are not properly reinforced in a lot of cities. We don't see enough happening on the two-wheeler front for a lot of safety. So yeah, just blindly screaming your head off and saying, oh, this has got a 3-star rating is terrible. You need to understand the use of that vehicle. You need to understand its primary place of being driven and the speeds that it's going to be dealing with. So if you have a small hatchback and you're going to take it at 140 kilometers down the highway, yes, you're risking yourself. And I can tell you that a 5-star rated hatchback at that speed is still going to be just as dangerous as a 1-star or a 0-star rated hatchback. And that is actually the bottom line. So when we talk about safety, we talk about pointing a finger at a manufacturer. It's very easy to do. I think what I'm trying to say is that the GNCAP is a great body. It's an NGO that does this testing. They take a model of a product line and put it under these rigorous tests. But it is there to just give you a sense of safety that the vehicle is about. But it is not an absolute number that is saying that if I'm in a 5-star car, I'm going to survive an accident. Because the bottom line that exists is that those are controlled environment tests. The real world is very different. And we've got drivers of all types out there that do crazy things. So a case in point being the Mahindra XUV 700. It's got a great safety rating. It comes with ADAS. You've got radar-controlled safety systems on board. And it is a very safe vehicle. But if you go onto Instagram, you will find videos of, I'm going to call them idiots, sitting behind the wheel, but not having their hands on the wheel, not properly buckled in. They've got their legs up and they're playing cards with their friends in the car because they've turned on the lane keep assist and adaptive cruise control. So the car is pretty much driving itself. And that, there's no replacement when it comes to that. So yes, it's a safe car with an absolute idiot behind the wheel. And what you get as a result is an accident that will probably take their lives. More recently, there was another video of someone in an XUV 700 doing something similar where I believe he was on a date and having a discussion and talking to his friends and his girlfriend or wife, and under the same conditions. Now, when you take all of this into play, right, all that safety, all those systems, the build quality, the ratings, everything goes out the window. So when it comes to safety, it starts with you. It does not start with the Global NCAP rating. It starts with you as a driver. It starts with you as someone behind the wheel and the responsibility that you are taking to get from point A to point B safely. If we make that difference, our roads will be way safer than trying to point a finger at a manufacturer or manufacturers and saying that they have a 3-star, 2-star, 1-star, or a 4-star. That is where safety starts. It actually begins with you, and then we can worry about how the car is built and to what level it is built. Now, India is coming out with its own safety norms. They're drawing them up based on a lot of similar tests that the GNCAP runs. Obviously, keeping Indian driving conditions in mind. And we might not have a frontal impact test that is at such a high speed, because in India, the average speed is actually much lower. But overall, we are moving in that direction. Every manufacturer is moving in that direction. So I think from a product standpoint, we don't really need to argue, are we getting something safe? The question is, are you a safe driver? And that's the question that I really wish that all of you would answer. On that note, I hope this was a little bit of insight onto what GNCAP does their crash test norms, and how much we should believe them, and where safety truly stands in India. And I do look forward to hearing back from you if you have any questions. So feel free to write in, drop me a comment. If you don't agree, if you agree, I'd love to hear it all, and I'll try and answer any queries that you have. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and do like and share this video if you thought it was useful.